Having won the game against Tottenham in the first 15 minutes and then thrown it away in what would have been an unbelievable comeback for Spurs for the second time in a week, Liverpool then went and won it again, thanks to a poor pass back from Lucas Moura and Diogo Jota capitalising. Erling Haaland is breaking the most unbelievable records, and we're going to talk about it in this show, and we're going to preview Arsenal versus Chelsea, because we like to sit here, Matisse, and say, the manager should have done this, the manager should have done that. Well, we get the opportunity to say beforehand what we want to see. Welcome to the show.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I was saying to you, second week in a row where my team doesn't play, I cannot be cooked. It's good to come in here, you know, fresh as a daisy, not having to worry about any issues. Of course, until we play you.
I hear it. Well, Arsenal have been timing their bad form for games where either there's other things to talk about, or they just do it on a Wednesday night, so I don't have to see you for 5 days. So it's actually all right. Yeah, I agree. Listen, neither one of our sides did particularly well. We are going to look ahead of that game. Let's talk about Tottenham versus Liverpool. Before I do, this has been an unbelievable Premier League season, hasn't it?
Yeah,
when you actually stop and think about every battle across, not just challenge for top four, not just title race, just the battle for European places, the relegation battle, the fact there's 8 teams that could go down, and the amount of last minute winners, the comebacks, everything. It's been unbelievable, and this was another Premier League classic.
This was probably my favourite game of the season. It was meme city. There was memes flying all over the place from the first half to the second half. Liverpool went into a rampant lead, you know, and somehow their centre-back Van Dijk becomes the meme of half-time with his slip against Perisic, even though his team is winning 3-1. You would think out of everybody getting destroyed on social media, it would be the Tottenham players for giving away a 3-goal lead inside 15 minutes for the second away trip in a row. But it's Van Dijk who's obviously done the splits and gymnastics and all sorts of things there. So
it was a great cutback from Perisic.
It was. What a game, honestly. Like, for me, again, Tottenham though, how can you start a game like that? Like, you've just refunded your fans' tickets, your away fans' tickets the week before. You haven't even covered their travel expenses, so now we think you're cheap. And on top of that, you go and do it again. There's people leaving that stadium, James, inside 20 minutes. I saw people walking out the stadium on the broadcast, and then they've missed a comeback. And the Tottenham fans that did stay have been mocked by a player that should have been sent off because they've done a pigeon dance 5 minutes before. I mean, it's ridiculous.
You're right, it was meme city. Actually, forget talking tactics. Like, this game doesn't need a tactical discussion. We're going to have one. But you're right. And I don't know where I sit with Spurs, because part of me wants to say, you know what? Fair play. You were 3-0 down. A week after what happened in Newcastle. So many teams would have capitulated further, and it just happens again and it gets worse, but they actually found a way back into it. Dare I say, across the 90, they probably edged it. They might have deserved the win. And yet it's an absolute disgrace to be 3-0 down after 15 minutes again after what happened last week, and then to lose it. But then I can't really blame Tottenham, because, you know, Toby was here on this set calling them bottle jobs. A lot of people throwing that, and right, absolutely right. But it's one mistake from one player.
It's one player,
Like, it is one player. Skip, brilliant in midfield for Tottenham. I thought actually Kulusevski, Son looked busy and live. I thought Perisic looked good as well, was getting forward. And I thought, can you really put that on the team? Again, they showed fight, they came back into it, but they lost.
Well, when Kane said it himself, when you score 3 goals away from home and you don't get anything, you have to question what's going on. And Tottenham fans were questioning the resources that were put into those centre-backs at the start of the season. They brought in Leng, I call him, from Barcelona on a loan deal. They have Eric Dyer in there, who had a horrendous first 15-20 minutes again.
Awful.
They need to sign some centre-backs, because what they have going forward, and that won't maybe stay the same with Harry Kane, but what they have going forward is very deadly and very potent. Son hit the post 2 times I think he did hit the post. And like you said, Kane is obviously just ridiculously prolific. So they have threats going forward. And I agree with you. Outside the first 15-20 minutes, Liverpool were a shadow of themselves after that. Tottenham just gained confidence constantly throughout the game. And then I would say as well, I'd agree with you on the balance of the game. I'd say that they were slightly a better team and they should have definitely got something out of the match. And even the Newcastle game, they were 5 goals down inside 21 minutes. After that, it was competitive at least. They didn't continue to keep conceding. It was goals in a very short space of time. This team continuously from the start of the season, remember when we was doing it before, they continuously keep conceding goals from the beginning of matches, and then they try and pull it back in the second half. They were doing it at the start of the season. So this is what Tottenham do.
Yeah, only 5-0 down, slightly different.
Yeah,
you're right. At 5, there's really no chance. At 3, we've seen incredible things, and hey, Liverpool know what a 3-3 comeback is all about.
Yeah.
Talking about Liverpool and their shape, let me ask about Trent Alexander-Arnold. What did you make of not just his role in this game, what he's been doing? I mean, we saw it when they played Arsenal at Anfield as well. He's been coming into midfield a lot. And it's kind of the best of both worlds. He's playing right back, which is where he's played all his career, but he's stepping into midfield where he can have a little bit more impact and not maybe be caught out quite as much. It's not perfect, but it's interesting to see.
If we move Jones and Elliott just a bit further forward and create a box midfield, because Trent was basically tucking in with Fabinho, and it was basically a box midfield at times, and that's how it ended up being. But the only issue for Liverpool on this front is, Konate in the wide spaces, I would trust him. Van Dijk has been poor this season and got absolutely stripped, but in the middle of a back 3, if he was to get back to any sort of level that he should be playing at, he should be okay. Robertson in build-up on this side was atrocious. He was really, really poor, and he made a few errors in this game, and it was clear that, okay, this is a Vardiol position. This is not a Robertson position. He's a flying fullback. He wants to get crosses into the box. Even his crossing at times wasn't inch perfect as it should be. But in build-up play, he would be the player that just in this back 3 was letting them down a little bit. He wasn't his Scotsman Tierney in that position. I'll tell you that. So, but in one of the goals as well, Trent still peeling off into those right, flank positions and getting crosses in. So it's kind of the best of both worlds for him, where he has the cover of Konate, which he does miss when he's playing as a sole right back and he's isolated and he's really dealing with the wingers. Konate takes kind of the Sons and whoever wants to play out wide. Yeah. He's still able to get forward and make those crosses from those areas, maybe those Kevin De Bruyne positions. Yeah. And yeah, he, the only thing that he'll have to develop is, opening up maybe on his left and being ridiculously press resistant, as we're seeing with John Stones and other players that play this position. But I've spoken about him playing this role for a few months now, and it usually gets shut down because it's like, Trent has to play right back, he has to play right back. But it just goes to show, he can play there.
There are trends in football, and the sort of, I'm going to call them false defenders. Basically, whether it's Stones coming into midfield to make it a box, which we've seen him doing, whether it's Zinchenko doing off the left and now it's Trent doing off the right, Rico Lewis did it as well. These defenders that, yes, on paper they line up in a back 4 or whatever, but they come in because everyone wants midfield dominance, and now Trent is being used in that role for Klopp. So he's developed that. But what I really like about the way Klopp's doing it is this shape, it mirrors Man City to a degree, really mirrors Arsenal. The fullback coming inside and then Diaz and Salah really wide. But what I really like about the Liverpool version of it, and it's fairly similar to Arsenal in the way Xhaka and Odegaard work as well, but it's the way Jones and Elliott are able to pull wide at times to ensure that they're not losing those inside forwards in Diaz and Salah at times. So what you will have is essentially the shape sometimes looks a little bit like this. Now if we just have a little look at the average positions map of Trent, again you see him very central there. He's more central than Konate. But if you look at Elliott number 19 and Jones number 17, they are literally in line with Salah and Diaz, which shows you how often they were alternating from 2 wide wingers to 2 central midfielders to 2 inside forwards to 2 wide central midfielders. They were constantly moving in and out, which I found really, really interesting. And you see that on the 2 goals the first 2 goals to a certain degree. So you are so right about Trent. He picks up that De Bruyne position, and so when this ball goes into the box, it's Jones that's peeled off because they still want Salah, Gakpo, Diaz narrow
the best shooters
inside
in the middle.
Absolutely. And
Jones had a really good game.
Yeah, he did. I mean, shocking defending.
Yeah. I was surprised with Jones, because I've criticised Jones a few times saying that I don't think he's Liverpool level and they need to reboost in that position. And I still believe that they do need to buy in that position. But he could save them money, and if he continues to play how he's playing, then maybe he actually might be cut out for the job. Whether he can do it in a title-winning top-tier Liverpool team is another question. He'll have a lot more improving to do. But I was impressed with him in this game.
They did look extremely exposed at times. Like they were able, you could play through Liverpool. But again, appreciating what it can do for them going forward. Here you've got Elliott on the ball. Now Salah is really, really wide. Now if this is Arsenal I'm watching, I think Diaz or Martinelli is out here. Like honestly just hugging the touch, and Grealish too. I think he'd be all the way out there because they want to keep that space, and maybe Xhaka, who would be the Curtis Jones, is filling that space. That is more how Arsenal would do it. But on the Liverpool front, again, Jones, he's still very central, but he's the wider of the midfield and the front three,
yeah.
And then when this ball goes to Salah, just holds it a second, then rolls it into Gakpo to ensure that he's still got that Mane Firmino dynamic, but with Gakpo and Diaz, the running in beyond, very narrow front three, ready to kill you, and again get your most dynamic, aggressive goal-scoring threats in sort of central areas. So I think it's really interesting the way Klopp has looked at what the two best teams in the league are doing in Brighton are up there, they do it to a degree, but also in Arsenal and Man City, but he's also added his twist to it.
He needed to make adaptations, didn't he, because Liverpool have been way off it this season, out of all competitions, out of the top four race, in my opinion. I think top four's done, and they're purely fighting on Europa League front for that place with Villa and Tottenham and Brighton. So he needed to make some adjustments, especially with the way Trent's been getting destroyed at right back. But those defensive issues don't go anywhere because, like I said, Son missed some massive chances. Harry Kane put one on a plate for him. He hit the post as well.
Should have been a penalty on Richarlison. I think it's Stonewall. I think it's a red card for Skip. And I think it's also...
I think it's definitely a red card for Jota. I think Skip...
That's the one I meant, sorry. But both are,
Skip is kind of one of those ones where I could see it going either way. But Jota is a red card. He's literally planted his foot in his face. So that's dangerous play. I was surprised that wasn't VAR'd, but hey.
I saw your tweet saying that you were also ready for Ryan Mason to take the Tottenham job.
I am.
And I think we all had some fun with that. But in all seriousness, he is getting
out of them.
Look, they started terribly in both Man United and this game. And I guess you could say you did say 5 minutes ago they were starting terribly under Conte and finding a way back in. But there does seem to be a little bit more combinations, a little bit more heart. It doesn't feel as plucky as it did before. Am I being too kind to Ryan Mason?
No, I would agree with you. I think there's a little bit more attacking intention in there as well, because let's be real, Conte and Stellini, it felt very defensive. It felt very cautious. He did try to go over the 4. He got punished for that immediately at St James's, so he's gone back to the 3 now last 2 games. But it does feel like they have a little bit more attacking attention. Like I said, they created loads of chances. They should have won this game. And they played good football in that second half. They really did.
They did.
But what happened at the end there is inexcusable from Lucas Moura. You bring him on as a sub. You take off Pedro Porro, who also hit the bar as well.
I sort of feel for him.
And you bring one Brazilian on who gets his first Premier League goal of the season, does his pigeon dance, wheels away in celebration, shushing everyone, and then Victoria Line train later. Next thing you know, Lucas Moura's heading it back towards Jota, and it's 4-3. So
unbelievable.
Some things a manager just can't quantify for. Things like that are.
And of course, Richarlison celebrates 3 offside Premier League goals, and then the one that actually counts, which nearly looked offside, by the way, gets cancelled out 90 seconds later. We're going to talk, as I said, a little preview for later in the show about Arsenal-Chelsea, a blank canvas, as you can see, so get thinking about what 11 you're going to want to see. Let's talk Erling Haaland.
Yes, let's do it.
Not Man City, because I actually didn't think they were that good against Fulham.
No, they weren't. Fulham put up a really good fight for a team that should be on the beach. I watched that game in parallel with Man United and Villa, and they were really, really good. Put up a proper fight, and City never looked comfortable at any point in that game.
That's the word, comfortable. They never looked comfortable, though I also don't think in the second half Fulham did anywhere near enough in terms of chance creation. But they were huffing and puffing and trying to cause them problems, and I thought City actually dealt with it like proper champions. I want to just throw some numbers at you, and you're getting a live reaction here. You haven't seen these. I wanted to talk about Erling Haaland's numbers in context. How good is he? How good is this rate of return from Erling Haaland? So let's start at the base. In 44 appearances this season, he's got 50 goals. In his senior career, 160 appearances, 165 goals. That is 41.25 goals per season on average, because he's played 4 full seasons, and that is 1.03 goals per game. That's pretty impressive, yeah? You agree?
Yeah, pretty impressive.
Let's go.
Not bad.
These are all from Transfermarkt, by the way, so feel free to check them yourselves, and if I've got anything wrong, let me know, because it's a lot of number crunching, but those are the numbers. Let's go one beyond. So compared to all-time Premier League goal scorers, Alan Shearer averaged 0.5. Of course, with Alan Shearer, it's the first division as well as the Premier League, so I've included all of them. 260 goals. Harry Kane on 208. Wayne Rooney on 208. 0.65 goals per game for Kane. Rooney 0.42. Andy Cole 0.45. Sergio Aguero, very impressive, 0.67. 184 goals there. Erling Haaland, as I said, averaging 1.13 Premier League goals per game with 34 in his first season.
Yeah, that goals per game is shattering. Absolutely shattering. Obviously, Aguero had his injury issues. Unbelievable striker. Harry Kane, we see it in broad daylight. This guy just can't stop scoring. Haaland is almost doubling them.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Crazy. I mean, the thing is with him, right, is he just lives for goals. That's all he does. He doesn't do anything else. He just scores goals. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes home.
He's adding more to his game, though.
He is. The hold-up play against Arsenal showed that.
Unbelievable,
Great hold-up play to put De Bruyne through for the assist. I think he got 2 assists in that game. Obviously, he takes his penalty very well at Craven Cottage very early on, tucks it in. Somebody said that he still needs to score more open play goals. Like in terms of the most open play goals in the season, he still has to beat that record.
Oh, okay,
so
fine.
he needs to go and do that apparently. But yeah, the guy is a freak, and like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes home and goes to score goals in the backyard and wakes up and scores a goal for breakfast. And this is what he does. This is all he wants to do.
It is what he does. Now, if you don't want to compare him to the all-time Premier League goal scorers, maybe you want to compare him to the greatest Premier League player of all time. Fine. Oh wait, no, I missed a graphic. Well, let me read this out first. Harry Kane has currently played 9 full seasons of Premier League football. Alan Shearer reached his final tally in 18 years of playing top-flight football. At this rate, Haaland would equal Alan Shearer's all-time record in 7.5 years.
Wouldn't be. I don't think he'll. Will he be here for 7.5 years?
No,
Probably not.
I think he'll be 2-3 seasons.
Yeah.
So I said, you want to compare him to the greatest Premier League player of all time? Fine, Thierry Henry. This is Thierry Henry's all-time career stats: 793 appearances, 360 goals, averaging 18 per season, and we know how unbelievably good Thierry Henry was.
Unbelievable.
And again, look at that from Erling Haaland. All right, so you don't want to compare him to the greatest Premier League of all time because it's looking easy for Haaland. Why don't we do it with 2 of the greatest players of all time? Fine. 964 appearances for Ronaldo, Messi 849 in Haaland's 160. He's got 165 goals, 713 for Ronaldo, 703 for Messi according to Transfermarkt. Goals per game, 0.74 for Ronaldo, 0.82 for Messi, 1.03 for Haaland, and in his first 4 years to Ronaldo and Messi's first full seasons, 32 goals for Ronaldo, 79 for Messi, 165 for Erling Haaland.
We're looking at potentially, it looks like, unless he, as long as he stays clear of injuries and he adapts to the lack of pace he'll get in his 30s, the greatest goal scorer of all time, basically, is what you're telling me.
This is what I'm here to ask.
This is the way he's going.
Is it too soon to start asking whether he is going to be remembered as the greatest Premier League goal scorer of all time, potentially the greatest goal scorer of all time? Now let me just say something before everyone kind of goes mad in the comments. Messi for me, the greatest of all time.
We're not talking about footballers here.
Right. I don't think Haaland can do anything numbers wise that would ever make me change my mind.
No.
Because Messi is magical. But I'm talking pure output.
Goal scoring, yeah.
Goals.
Pure goals.
Now, Ronaldo's best numbers, you see 32 in 4 years. That sounds low. It is low because actually then the 5th and 6th season, he started putting up the ridiculous numbers in the league and all that. And then at Real Madrid, he kicked on and the numbers are unbelievable. These 2 freaks. Now,
the one thing that these 2 never had an issue with, though, is injuries.
Right.
They never got injured. They didn't miss any significant period of time through injuries. That is something Haaland is going to have to do. The goals, the output, no question. This guy will get a minimum of 500 goals in his career. However, he is going to need to stay fit if he's going to get to those numbers. And that is the question, because he does always pull up with something niggly, something small. And if they were to accumulate and it was to become a big injury, you can't miss a season with these 2. If you're going to touch Messi and Ronaldo numbers, you cannot miss a season. You miss a season, and that's it done. So that's the conversation.
And also they're playing to 38, 39. Ronaldo, Messi's 35, 36.
Yeah. Still kicking ball.
Yeah, right. And adding to these numbers.
Numbers. Yeah.
So it's about whether then also he's got the longevity. I think that's what makes him so unbelievably impressive. Let me just let you know that a 15-year projection for Erling Haaland, if he carries on at this rate, will mean 600 appearances with 618 goals. So that's interesting, because in 15 years that takes him to the age of 37. So 618 goals actually wouldn't touch Ronaldo and Messi, because he hasn't averaged the amount of appearances. So I think that's right anyway. Maybe I'll double check that. But unbelievable numbers for Erling Haaland. What a player. 50 goals this season.
Mad. Freak.
And people are saying Arsenal are bottling it. Let's not. I'll leave that to you on the roundup. I'm not getting involved. All right. So I've been critical of some of the things Arteta's done recently. You've been very critical of Frank Lampard, and I don't blame you. He played a back three and 6 midfielders. With Kante and Gallagher up front.
This would be the game to do it, right? If you're going to do it now, then it might actually make some sense.
So let me ask you, listen, you're playing for pride, you're playing for the fact it's a London derby, you're playing to learn a lot about these players under Pochettino. What would your Chelsea 11 be going into this game?
In goal, I think you have no choice but to go with Kepa.
Is Mendy injured?
Mendy's not injured, but Mendy hasn't played under Frank Lampard at all.
Right.
I think he's going to leave in the summer.
He signed him?
Yeah, because Kepa was awful in his first season. So I think Mendy's going to leave. I would prefer to see Mendy, but
if you prefer, would you? If this is your team, what do you want?
The issue I would have with Mendy is that he hasn't played football for so long. To throw him in at the Emirates, if we're playing out from the back, potentially with your press, I don't know if we're going to try and do that. But if we do, I could see him being very rusty and giving away a goal and having a heavy touch. So I would go with Kepa.
Okay.
I'd go over back four, because that's what Pochettino's going to play.
Sure.
I don't really.
Plenty of players here, as you can see.
Yeah. I don't really care about the result. Reece James, Ben Chilwell, Fofana.
Reece James out injured, isn't he?
Oh yeah, of
course. Out for the season.
Jesus, we don't have any players.
I can give you Chalobah
versus Martinelli.
Well, better than Spilicueta, no?
Jesus, we're finished. I've just realised how screwed we are in this game. Well, scrap it, back three. Martinelli, I'm not letting Martinelli loose on anybody. Back three, we're going to go Fofana, Silva, Badiashile.
Oh, wow. So
I was going to try and be forward-thinking here and be Poch with the back four, but no.
Who did you say? Fofana, who, and Badiashile?
Silva and Badiashile, yeah, back three.
Boom. Fine.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek, right wing back. Ben Chilwell, left wing back.
Oh, wow. Is that what you're going for? Okay.
It has to be, yeah.
Fine.
It has to be.
He did quite well in the Tottenham game at the very start of the season.
Yeah.
Do you know what makes me laugh?
Aspilicueta's not touching this pitch.
His people saying, isn't it mad that Tuchel Conte handshake was this season?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it. It felt like it was years ago, honestly.
It does.
It's crazy.
It feels like Premier League years moment.
Yeah.
Okay, your midfield.
In midfield, I'm going to go Enzo and Kante.
Enzo's in there. And N'Golo Kante is in there.
And then front three, this is where it gets interesting now.
Lots of players. Felix, Mount, Ziyech, Aubameyang at his old club. Mudryk.
Mount's out as well.
100 million. Is Mount out?
Yeah.
Sterling, Havertz, Madueke. Not short of options, Matisse.
I'm going to go with Madueke, Mudryk, and Kai Havertz. Because I know Kai Havertz is going to play that striker role better than probably Felix, I think, up against your centre-backs. I think Felix could be maybe bullied.
Really?
Kai Havertz does work quite hard, to be fair, off the ball. I don't really want anybody of them up there, to be honest, because none of them can shoot. But, you know, I mean, some people will call for Datro Fofana to come in up front.
Right.
But again, first game, I would say off the bench. I think you're kind of putting him out to dry a little bit.
Hanging him out to dry.
Yeah, hanging him out to dry at the Emirates against one of the best teams in the league, away from home. He hasn't kicked a ball in months at Chelsea in terms of the first team at this level. I think I'd put him on the bench and bring him on off the bench, but he is also part of the future. So that's probably the team I'd go with.
It's a good team.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a 3-6-1. You know, it's not.
What, maybe Gallagher off, Kante off Sterling.
Kante and Gallagher just roaming off Sterling to get those incredible headers in the box from brilliant crosses from Cesar Azpilicueta. It's not that, but it is something. I put together something maybe that makes some sense. You know, and I don't even have a UEFA badge, right? I don't even have a UEFA license, and I've still managed to put together a team that makes sense. You think to yourself, maybe Madueke and Loftus-Cheek combining. Mm-hmm. You know, Loftus-Cheek could maybe make runs on the inside there as a third midfielder to Kante. Yeah,
you could even
exactly.
You could even move into this shape if you have to. Look at that. Look at
There you go.
We should get the job.
Then it becomes a 4-3-3.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Loftus-Cheek playing his natural 8 position, Madueke on the right, Mudryk on the left in positions they're comfortable in. Kai Havertz is going to have to play up there because we're not playing. It's not personal. Aubameyang, and you've got your back four. Fofana's very quick and good in wide spaces. He can help out Silva. It's crazy what you can do when you put a team out there that makes sense. Now I'm not saying that team's going to win. That team will probably lose. But at least that team has some sort of balance and some sort of forward-thinking, players, and also maybe might even get a goal. Who knows?
I think that's quite a good team. I'd be worried if that team comes out. They could hurt us. I mean, Frank Lampard's an absolute shocker on the starting 11 front and systems front, and I see why Chelsea fans have been so frustrated with him. Arsenal, I'll keep it quick. Look, obviously Ramsdale keeps his place. As the person who's been calling to drop Rob Holding against certain teams that have real dynamism in the front three, I do think in this game in particular you probably just keep him in. I just think, look, when it was about a title running, trying to find a way to beat Man City, fine. I think now you just go with what's familiar to most other players, so I'd be going with this back four. I know Zinchenko's not been at his best, but look, we still have plenty to play for. I don't think we should be rewriting how we want to play suddenly just because. I mean, look, some people are calling for White centre-back, Partey right back, and then Jorginho in midfield. If I saw that, I'd be absolutely fine with it. But it's probably going to be that. Actually, you know what? No, forget it. Sorry, Rob. No.
Wow. What's
That's
going on
what
here?
I do. Put Partey at
Change your
centre-back.
mind.
He's dynamic. He's good on the ball. He had a shocker at City. Chuck him at centre-back, and fine. I expect us to have a lot of the ball in this game anyway.
You should do, yeah. I obviously am already anticipating this Odegaard, Xhaka, Jorginho and Zinchenko tucking in potentially if it's not Partey midfield. Yeah. And that's where Loftus-Cheek on the right wing back will be tucking in as well and making it a 3-man midfield. Fofana goes out to Martinelli, 1v1. I'm happy with that. Pace versus pace. And Loftus-Cheek and Enzo will be tasked with dealing with Xhaka. Physical, Xhaka versus Loftus-Cheek should be a good physical battle. Loftus-Cheek would have to step up to that. That's why I'm not going anywhere near Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta doesn't need to come inside as a right wing back, and he's not quick and he's not strong at this point anyway. And maybe Kante versus Odegaard if you don't want to give Enzo that task, and kind of allow Enzo to kind of just roam in those middle areas, find those long passes to Mudryk, to Madueke on the break, to Kai Havertz, who might drop in deep as well and try and link up. But these guys will be running in behind. And Jorginho versus Enzo, pace for pace is not too crazy. Zinchenko is in there as well. So
I'm taking Saka out of the team for this. I think he was bright against Southampton, but not had the best last 4 or 5 games. He's played a lot of football. I think the title's done, and more importantly, Trossard has been brilliant. He's been so good for us. Didn't deserve to not be in the team the last 4 games. We're winless in 4. Before that, we'd won 7 in a row. Trossard played, I think, started in every single one, or started in most. So I just think he belongs in the team. He's a calm head on shoulders, and we need that. We just need composure going to this game. If we're calm, we play our football, we'll win. Yeah. But Arsenal they could be a little rattled, they could be a little deflated that the title race feels over, but they could also respond and just play with freedom. So we will see. Those are our 11s. Score prediction?
2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, what did I go for? I think I went with the same. No, I think I went with 3-0 Forever Arsenal. That was because Lee Judges went for 2-0. I was tactically trying to get points on the board.
You guys got a point system?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I was quite far last, but I've already caught up with Lee Judges, so I need to make sure I stay on his case. Fair enough. Is it close?
Could be better.
Go check out the Big Six. If you're watching this when this comes out, that'll be later tonight, the Big Six, of course. Go check out both our channels at Matisse Armani. Have I said that? Yeah, go check that out. My channel as well, James B. I'm uploading regular content Monday, Wednesday and Friday there. And of course, these are our thoughts ahead of Arsenal Chelsea. We'll be reacting. I'll be on AFTV. Matisse will be on his channel as well, reacting to the game. And Liverpool, Tottenham fans, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Man City fans, how lucky do you feel to have Erling Haaland? And a big question, how long do you think you'll keep him? Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, because DR Sports is covering everything in the world of football. Plus, you've got the F1 on track. You've got all the boxing, the influencer fighting, all that, UFC. It's all covered here on DR Sports. In the summer, I'll be doing tennis. So plenty to come. We'll see you very soon. Many, many thanks.